So, Tanya, where do you see then the major pain points for entrepreneurs like yourself who are trying to, develop the technology, get the customers, and eventually, hopefully, scale up?
Absolutely. I think one of the main pain points that I see is the customers in the UK. If you look at the UK itself, we have a lot of potential, one of them being finance, which is why we kind of put a lot of effort in it to be able to be have access to those people and say, could you buy our stuff? That is one of the pain points that we face because we don't have access to that ecosystem at all. It takes a lot of effort to get it. And most startups don't have that, which is one of the things that's limiting for investors. So investors will come and say, who's going to buy this in the UK? They don't have an answer. But if you ask people in the US, they'll be like, the government has subsidized systems that will help us make sure that you get into to customers. In the UK, we don't have that. And as a result, one of the pain points for companies like ours to grow is that we do not have that reassurance that we will get into the industry. That's one aspect of it. The other one is to do with knowledge. So I came into ChipStart, I was very green. I didn't have all the knowledge of how to go from idea to semiconductors. They helped us get there. And a lot of great ideas that are coming out of the UK are very much so limited to their knowledge of the full system and how to do it, so much so that they come in and they burn a lot of capital on trying to figure it out where this should be common knowledge. So I think those two things right there are the first two things that I think are kind of like, the limiting factors in us actually growing as like a big semiconductor ecosystem in the UK. And this then has an effect on funding. If you look at semiconductors companies, they're not being funded in the UK by the investors because they also do not understand the ecosystem, but also they do not see the customers there. So they then wonder, why are we investing in this? When in reality, you won't get customers here, you get them in the US, or in reality, they don't understand what it takes to actually make the semiconductor from idea to silicon.
You are aware, I know, that the government is establishing or is in the process of establishing the National Semiconductor Support Centre. Do you think this will help then with these pain points?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that has been really impactful is I have been contacted and been in contact with DCIT. Also, when we were in Taiwan, I was also in contact with the foreign office there and kind of like the people who kind of push semiconductors in the UK. And they are asking semiconductor startups about their voice being kind of like heard in this conversation. So as long as they take those kind of like, suggestions in place, then this could be sorted. And this is a great vehicle, the National Semiconductor Center, to be able to have these conversations and also be able to actually fix these problems. Because again, the investment from the UK government, I think it's like 500 million into sovereign AI to be able to do this is there in a separate kind of bucket for semiconductors. If they know where to place the buckets and where to focus on these pain points from knowledge understanding, landscape understanding of what semiconductors actually means to kind of like making sure that there is a market. If we have these things in place and we spend that money there, I don't think we'll have a problem with semiconductor startups in the UK actually scaling.
So you really want the National Semiconductor Centre to focus on on startups because I'm not sure the brief has been entirely clarified as yet, but that's where we really need it, isn't it?
That's where it's really needed. I think if you even look at the UK where they have kind of like their priorities when it comes to semiconductors, we know that packaging and materials is our strength. We know that design and IP of design for chips like we do is another one of our strengths. R&D is part of our strengths. And the only thing that will get that transformed from R&D and IP itself to something that would actually support the economy is through startups and scale ups, because that's the only way we can actually get return on investment on those particular areas. Anything else will be child's play, to be honest.
I couldn't agree with you more.